This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, can you hear me this, Lokesh?
Are you guys able to hear me now?
Yes, Krushik.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the confirmation. Sorry for the disturbance in the audio. So today's agenda will be what is performance testing, LoadRunner architecture, and an example, okay, of how to record the script, okay, using the LoadRunner component. What is the course content for, okay, and then the Q&A. Okay, so without any delay, let me begin with the performance testing concept. So basically, you know, some of you guys might be from a testing background. Some of you guys might be completely new to IT, right? Some of you guys might be, might be a functional tester or something like that. So basically, every product or every application has to undergo the software testing cycle, right? So a product or an application should undergo the testing phase before it gets released to the market, isn't it? So the testing is divided into the functional testing and the non-functional testing. Functional testing and the non-functional testing. So what do you mean by functional testing? So functional testing means we have to test the functionality of the application. Okay, for what purpose it was developed. So we have to test the core functionality of the application. So the different types of testing we have in that space is regression testing or integration testing, right? Or the different tools we use here is Selenium, UFT for automation, right? Selenium and UFT for automation, right? And when it comes to non-functional testing, testing the non-functional aspects of the application like performance, security, usability, right? These these comes under the non-functional testing. So especially the performance testing, right? So here we don't test the functionality. Rather, the focus will be on the performance. Okay, the different tools we use here is like LoadRunner, Jmeter, Neoload, Gatling. We have different types of tools, but the most widely used tools are LoadRunner and Jmeter, right? So if I take an example of of a particular application, let's say that this is a sample application. If I ask you to test the login functionality for this application. How do you test the login functionality for this application? Just to test the login functionality. So I will just launch the application first. Yes, I'll browse the URL, and then I'm going to enter the username and then some password, and then I click on login button. When I click on login button, if the user is able to navigate to this home page successfully, then that means the login is successful, right? That means we have validated the login functionality, isn't it? That's fine. This is all about the functional testing. This comes under the functional testing aspect, where we are just verifying the login functionality. Of course, the login is working fine. I'm able to log in successfully. But as a performance tester, I'm not interested or much focused on the functionality part. Rather, the performance tester is more focused or interested in knowing how fast the application is responding, how fast I'm able to navigate to home page. See, once I enter the username and password and click on login button over here, how fast the user is able to navigate to this home page, how much time it has taken for the user to log in successfully. So as a performance tester, okay, we are much focused or interested in knowing how fast the application is responding, how fast the pages are loading. Okay, in fact, the performance testing is all about checking the performance of performance or behavior of an application. Okay, like when I say performance or behavior of an application, it means how fast the application is loading, responding, how fast the pages are loading. Okay, so performance testing here, it's all about checking the behavior or performance of an application. Okay, one more statement is by applying some load. So just now, I just entered the username and password, and I clicked on login button. When I entered the username and password and I clicked on login button, of course, it navigated me to the home page. Okay, but I'm the only user here who just entered the username and password and clicked on the login button. And I'm just trying to verify the performance. Of course, the application is super fast as of now. But this is not called performance testing. The performance testing uh, is all about checking the performance or behavior, but after applying some load. Okay, you need to apply some load and then check the performance or behavior of the application. What do you mean by applying some load? That means you need to test the application, okay, with some number of users. Like it could be 100 users or 200 users or 300 users, 1,000 users, 10,000 users, right? So how the application is responding, okay, how the pages are loading when we are applying some load, when we are testing with multiple number of users. So when we are testing with only one user, that doesn't call, or that doesn't say it as a performance testing. We have to test the application with multiple number of users, then only we call it as a performance testing. Okay, we have to apply some load. Okay, that is, we have to test with multiple number of users, and then we have to check the performance of the application. Okay, so performance testing is all about checking the behavior or performance of an application by applying some load. Okay, so you have to remember this this statement. Checking the behavior or a performance of an application by applying some load is called performance testing. Okay, so far so good, right? So now we know what is performance testing. Okay, at a high level, that it's all about checking the performance or behavior of an application by applying some load, right? So what happens if the performance testing is not done? Generally what happens? if a performance testing is not done, or why performance testing is required. So basically, the goal of performance testing is to find performance issues rather than finding functional bugs. So this is what is important for us rather than finding the functional bugs. What do you mean by functional bugs? Oh, you entered username and password, okay, and you clicked on sign in, but it's not logging in successfully. That's a functional bug. A reason could be anything. Okay, but if you are able to log in successfully, but let's say it is taking 1 minute time. Let's say it's taking 1 minute time. You entered username and password and then clicked on sign in button, but it's taking 1 minute time. So that's a kind of performance issue, right? So let's say that you are using some Gmail or some other application, okay, whatever it is. Oh no, so you log into your application, and let's say it is taking 2 minutes or 3 minutes just to log in successfully. Is it fine for you? No, right? There is some issue with performance, right? So why the performance testing is more important? Because if the user is facing some application slowness, okay, like if the pages are loading too slow, okay, you click the button but it is navigating to a different page very slowly, like it's taking 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 3 minutes, right? Then obviously user will not be satisfied at all. So even when the user satisfaction is not there, obviously the success of that particular tool is not guaranteed, right? So the tool performance is of more importance here. Anything nowadays, we have high speed bandwidths available. Even in spite of having high internet bandwidth, if the application is performing too slow, that's a big, but that's a big thing actually. It's a big issue, right? No user is interested to use an application which is too slow. They rather find an alternative application. Okay, let's say you are on social media. You have installed some application, and if that is too slow in responding, and it's killing all your time, okay, just if you click a button or you click a link, it's killing all your time, right? Then what would you do? You find an alternative. You go for some alternative. That means what is happening? There might be a business loss. There might be a business loss as well, right? So that's the reason we mentioned all these points here. So the goal of the performance testing is to find performance bottlenecks or issues rather than finding functional bugs. So the performance testing will always assist clients, okay, in understanding how the application might behave in production. Okay, so once we do the performance testing, we can assure client that how the application might behave in when the real users access it. Okay, so if the performance testing is not conducted, then the applications might face problems like slowness, the pages loading forever, inconsistency, and further may result in business loss. You might have seen so many applications, right? Like when you click a button, it might load continuously, load for 1 minute, 2 minutes, or it can load forever. There might be some issues. I know most of you guys might have seen these sort of issues, in your real time, right? So in order to fix all those things before the end user access that application, the performance testing is in place. The performance testing will ensure that all the performance issues must be fixed before the application is used by the end users. Okay, so our priority is to fix the performance issues. Our priority is to fix the performance issues. Okay, so you cannot correlate the performance testing with the functional testing or the normal manual testing that we do, right? So let's say you are using an escalator. When you are using an escalator, let's say you want to go to the next floor. Maybe you are using an escalator. That's fine. If you are using an escalator to go to the next floor, if it is working fine, obviously you will reach the next floor, right? So that is a kind of functional aspect. But how fast you are going to the next floor, how much time it is taking to reach to the next floor, is all about the performance of that escalator, right? So here also, coming to the applications perspective, the performance testing is all about checking the performance or behavior of an application by applying some load, right? So when I say applying some load, you take the example of an escalator. If one person is using the escalator, how it is performing? If 10 people are standing on the escalator, how it is performing? If 20 people are using that escalator, how it is performing, right? So that is load. You need to test the application with multiple users, right? So hope you guys understood about the importance of performance testing at a high level. And there are some instances where there is a huge business loss as well. I remember in 2013 or 2014, one of the e-commerce a famous e-commerce application which announced a big sale on a particular day for the first time, and I think around 10 a.m. or 12 p.m. something around that. And when all the users tried to access the application and try to use that sale offers, what happened on that day? The application crashed because the big sale was announced for the first time, I think in 2013 or 2014. Even they didn't expect that those many users will use that application. So that means the application was accessed by more number of users than expected. What happened in that case? The application didn't respond, it crashed. So that was the first time. And after then they rectified it. They rectified in sense, they assumed, they analyzed how many users might use. So according to that, they made their infrastructure ready to support those many number of users. So now frequently we see those big sales, weekend sales, right? A week sale or a Friday sale, whatever it is, right? So what happens on those days? More number of users access the application than expected, right? So still the application supports, and we are able to order the products online. Okay, so that's the importance of performance testing. Okay, so now we know what is performance testing and why performance testing, what happens if the performance testing is not done, and so on. And how do we exactly do this performance testing? Are there any tools in place? Yes, we have many tools in place like LoadRunner, Jmeter, NeoLoad, and so on. But the most widely used tools are LoadRunner and Jmeter. Okay, so here this course is all about the LoadRunner. Okay, so without wasting any time, I would like to take 5 minutes or 5 to 10 minutes of time just to explain you the LoadRunner architecture, how it works. Okay, what is the architecture? Okay, so let me open a slide and we will derive the architecture by based on by some questions. So let's say there is some bank application. Let's say there is some bank application. Now, obviously, if I ask you to test the bank application, okay, with 500 users, let's say I'm a client and I ask you to test the bank application with 500 users. Okay, that means if 500 people are accessing the bank application, how it is responding? Okay, that is what we actually wanted to test. So what can you do? What can you do? Will you be able to bring 500 people at one place and give them 500 laptops or 500 desktops and ask all of them to access the bank application, okay, at the same point of time, concurrently? You ask all of them to access the bank application? Possible? Not possible? Not possible, because it's very costly. You cannot bring all the 500 people together. For some reason, if you are able to bring 500 people together and assign them laptops and ask them to test, or ask them to log into the bank application simultaneously. But what if I ask you to test for 5,000 users? Will you bring 5,000 people and say, hey, can you guys access the bank application at the same time? I just want to see the performance. It doesn't work like that, right? Even though if you are so rich that you can bring 5,000 people, What if I ask you to test with 50,000 people, 50,000 users? We cannot bring 50,000 people, right? So for that reason, we need a component, or we need support which will help us in simulating the virtual users for us. These virtual users will do the same thing like how the real users perform the actions, right? How the real users perform the actions like clicking a button, clicking a link, okay, all those things. These virtual users also does the same thing. So there should be a component which should help us or assist us in generating or simulating these virtual users. So that particular component is called load generator. So there is a component in the LoadRunner architecture which is called load generator, which is specifically used to simulate virtual users, okay, which are those virtual users are required to perform the actions how the real users do. Okay, so these load generators are also machines only. So they are highly configured machines. When I say highly configured, their memory, the CPU and all will be high, little bit advanced. Okay, now when you have a component which is able to simulate users for you, then what else you need? You need a component which will help you to test the functionality. For example, what are the critical functionalities in the bank application, guys? Let's say the first critical functionality, business functionality in a bank application is all about transfer money. That means users should be able to transfer money is the most critical business transaction. So if you want to test the performance of this, okay, how fast a user is able to transfer money. So you need to develop some steps, or you need to perform some actions. Like first you need to launch the application, then you need to log into the application, then you need to select the beneficiary to whom you want to send the amount, then you need to select the amount, how much amount, or you need to enter the amount, how much amount you want to send, and then you need to click on transfer money, and then you log off. So these are the possible sequence of steps. So these steps we should execute again and again with multiple number of users, isn't it? Then there should be some component which should assist us or help us in developing the script for these functionalities, because these are the actions that we need to perform, right? So the component that is responsible for developing scripts to perform the actions is Vusion. Okay, Vusion is a component which is responsible for developing the scripts for the business functionalities, right? So once I've just given the example of transfer money, which is a critical business transaction for any bank application. So likewise, you might have multiple business scenarios. Like one more, if you ask me what are the other scenarios for a bank application? Let's say download a bank statement is one of the scenario, right? Let's say paying a credit card bill is one of the scenario, right? So you need to perform all these actions with multiple number of users, right? So if you want to perform these actions, okay, you need to have those scripts ready. You need to have those you need to execute those steps. How? By developing scripts through this component called Vusion. Okay, now you have users who can, you have a component which will simulate users. You have a component which will allow you to develop scripts for the business scenarios. Then now you need a platform or a component which will allow you to trigger the execution of these scripts. Now whatever the scripts that we have developed through Vusion, so the component, there should be a component which should allow us to trigger the execution. So that particular component is called controller or performance center. Okay, so the controller or performance center is a component which will allow you to trigger the execution. So whatever the scripts you developed or the scenarios, okay, or the business scenarios you have developed, so those scenarios you need to upload into controller to trigger the execution. Okay, and when you have the component which is taking care of the execution or triggering the execution, once the execution is done, then there should be some component which should assist us in analyzing the results. Of course, once the test is done, we should analyze the results, right? So which business scenario performed well, which business scenario didn't perform, right? Which business scenario took so much time to process, to execute, right? So the component which will help us in, or which will assist us in analyzing the results, is called analysis. Okay, so this component will definitely help us in analyzing the results. Okay, it will provide us various metrics, it will provide us various graphs to analyze, and provide our observations and recommendations to the client. See, performance testing, of course, I personally divide it into three things. First is, you should be able to develop the scripts. You should be able to develop the scripts for the business scenarios. You should be able to execute. And after that, you should be able to provide your observations and recommendations to client by analyzing the results. So that is also very, very important, right? So these three phases are very important. So you need to master all these three phases if you want to become a good performance tester. Okay, so on a high level, this is the load runner architecture. You have one more component called or you can call it as an agent. Okay, so there will be one agent which will connect this load generator to controller. Okay, we will discuss in detail in our upcoming sessions. Okay, so for time being, on a high level, these are the important components that are part of the load runner architecture. Load generator is used to simulate the users. Okay, and then Vusion is to develop the scripts, controller is to trigger the execution, and analysis is to analyze the results, and provide our observations and recommendations to client. Okay, so if you, in the meantime, if you have any questions, please make a note of those questions. You can, we can discuss those questions at the end. Okay, so like this is all about the load runner architecture at a high level. Now, without wasting any further time, I will quickly discuss about how to record a simple script, simple flow, or a simple business scenario using the Vusion component of the load runner architecture. Okay, so let's say we are going to record we are going to test the business scenario called login functionality. Login. So login functionalities of an application, of any sample application, okay, is what we are going to record now. So for the login business scenario, what are the possible steps? The first step is launching the application, right? The second step is login by entering some valid credentials. Then third step will be log off, isn't it? So these are the possible steps for the login functionality if you want to test the performance, right? So these three steps we are going to record using the component called Vusion quickly now. Okay, so let me go back. Okay, and the component Vusion, okay, once you install, you go to search over here in the window, in the UI, you just type Vusion. You just type Vusion, it will come up like this, virtual user generator. So click on this link and you will see this particular Vusion being launched. Okay, you will see particular screen being launched. So for this particular application, web tools, okay, this is a sample application actually. So for this application, we are going to record three steps, or we are going to perform three actions. What? Launch, login, log off, and then we will see how the script is getting recorded and all those things. Okay, so let me close the browser here. So this is how it will be when you launch the Vusion component. Okay, so here we will quickly click on file option, okay, and select new script and solution. And then here there are different protocols that you see. We select the protocol called web protocol because most of the web applications use this web protocol. And then here you need to give the script name. Let's say the script name is, let's say, demo. Demo, and where you want to save the script location you can give. Let's say I will give the location. Let me give location Let me give some new location. Let's go to D drive and go to scripts. Or let me create a new folder over here. Say, okay. Okay. So then I'm going to, okay, create. Click on create. So I am going to, we will discuss about those protocols in our upcoming sessions again. But for time being, I have selected web protocol because that's that's for the web application. So this is how the Vusion component will look like. Once you create a script. Okay, so this is where your code will be generated. Okay, once you record all the actions like launch, login, log off, this is where your code will be generated. This is a solution explorer. Okay, from where you can just navigate between different actions, use those parameters and all those things. Okay, we will discuss in detail in our upcoming sessions. So what we are going to do now is we are going to record those 3 steps or actions. Okay, those 3 steps or actions. 1 second. Okay. Sorry guys, just plugged in the charger. Okay. So so this is how the screen looks. Okay. Once you log into the Vusion. So now what we are going to do is we are going to record three actions. What are those 3 actions, guys? Launch, login, log off, right? So to record those 3 actions, you need to click on this record icon over here. Okay, so let me click on that record icon. Then you will see a pop-up window which will ask you to provide some details. So ignore the first option for time being. We'll discuss in detail in our upcoming session for sure. Then here you choose the browser. Do you want to use Internet Explorer, Chrome, or Firefox? What is the Edge, Microsoft Edge? Like what is the browser that you want to use to record these particular actions? So let's say I want to choose Internet Explorer. Then here you need to give the application URL. You need to give the application URL. Like what is the application that you are going to record? So that particular application URL you need to provide here. Okay, so let's say you are recording a website called ishatrainingsolutions.com. So you need to give www or http://ishatrainingsolutions.com. The main URL you need to provide here, whatever the application you are going to record. For the sample application, what we are going to record now, this is the application URL that I'm giving here. Okay, and then just click on start recording for time being. The remaining options we'll see later in our upcoming sessions, but for time being, click on start recording. When you click on start recording, automatically the browser will be launched. The selected browser will be launched with the given URL. You see the Internet Explorer launch it successfully, and also the application, you can see here clearly, right? And then you also see a movable window over here, right? You also see a movable window over here, right? So this movable window will be in place as soon as you click on start recording. Okay, and then you see some number keeps on increasing. Okay, it's a good sign. That means this particular tool or component is able to record the application successfully. Whatever the actions that you're going to perform, it's recording successfully. That means we have just launched the application, right? So it's just trying to record the flow. Okay, then you have different options over here like stop recording, pause recording, and so on. But we will discuss again in detail. But for today, one important option that we are going to discuss is this: insert a start transaction and end a start transaction. These two options. Why we need to insert a start transaction, why we need to end a transaction is because we are going to perform three actions like launch, login, log off. Now, how can I separate them so that I can understand, or I can know how much time it is taking? Okay, how much time it is taking? Okay, so for that purpose, we need to click on insert start transaction over here. Then you need to give the transaction name. What is the action that you are going to perform? Let's say the action you are going to perform is login now, because the application is already launched. So you are going to perform login, right? So let's type login. Let's type login. So click on OK. Click on OK. And then click on enter the username called Jojo. Now perform the action. And then click on and then enter the password called Bean. And then click on login button. So first, what did we do? We inserted a start transaction. We have given a name for it. What is the name? Something related to the action that we are going to perform. Of course, we are just going to perform the login action. So I named it as login, and then I entered username and password. Now I'm going to click on login button, right? And then once the login is successful, I can end the transaction. I can end the transaction. So here, whatever the transaction you started, you have to end it. Why? Because you are going to perform the next action now. So that's the reason the current action you need to end. So the next action or the step that I'm going to perform is log off. So again, I can click on start transaction. I will give the transaction name as log off and click on OK here. Now, the action that I'm going to perform is log off, right? So on the left hand side of the application, you have a button called sign off. You have a button called sign off. So click on that. Click on that, and then end the once the application is signed off, you can close the browser, or if you want, or else you can directly end the transaction called log off. 1 second, guys. So now the transactions are done, right, guys? So we have recorded launch, login, log off. Okay, we have performed the log off also. Now you can stop recording. You can simply click on stop recording. Once you stop recording, the script will be generated. See, the script is getting generated. Okay, and you see this pop-up, just click on close, and then you will see a recording report like this, which we will discuss later. But then here there will be one tab called action. You click on that for time being to see the code that got generated. So this is the code that got generated. How many lines? 50, approximately 50 plus lines. Okay, 50 lines of code that got generated. Okay, for the actions that we performed just now. If you observe this particular code, okay, correctly. Okay, see line number 18. Line number 18 says LR underscore start underscore transaction login. What do you mean by this? That means this is the line that got generated when I inserted a start transaction for login just now. Okay, and if you see line number 37, it is saying end transaction login. That means whatever the transaction we are starting here, we are ending here. Okay, while the recording, I just clicked on end transaction, right? Insert end transaction. So for that purpose, this start transaction, end transaction are coming up. Whatever the code that is present between start transaction and end transaction, okay, belongs to login. Belongs to login. Okay, whatever the code that belongs that is between start transaction and end transaction of login, this entire code belongs to login now. Similarly, if you scroll down little bit, there is a start transaction for log off, and then you see there is an end transaction for log off here at line number 53. Line number 41 is start transaction for log off. Why? Because during recording I inserted a start transaction for log off action, then end transaction for log off. Whatever the code that is present between start transaction and end transaction of log off, now this code belongs to log off. Okay, this code belongs to log off. Okay, now can anyone tell me what is this code belongs to, which is before login? Of course, here line number 18 it says LR underscore start transaction login. But before that, there is some code over here. Can anyone tell what is that code belongs to? Any guess? What is that
Launch.
code? Yes,
Launching of the
Launch the
page.
application.
exactly. Okay, this code belongs to launch. This code belongs to launch. But if you observe, there is no start transaction nor end transaction for launch. Why? The reason is when you clicked on start recording, automatically the browser launched with the given URL. That's the reason we didn't get chance to insert a start transaction for launch and end transaction for launch. However, if you want to add it, you can add it manually by just writing LR underscore start underscore transaction. So LR underscore start underscore transaction is a function which is used to invoke a transaction. Okay, within that you need to provide the transaction name. Let's say launch, right? Similarly, after this request, I can end the transaction say by saying LR underscore end underscore, okay, transaction. Okay, and then you need to give you need to give according to the syntax. So here, whatever the name you are giving here in the launch, the same name you need to give it in the end also. Sorry, whatever the name you are giving it in start transaction, the same name you need to provide it in the end transaction also. Okay, then comma, you need to write this particular statement. Okay, we will discuss in detail, in our upcoming sessions. So now I added a start transaction, end transaction for launch also. Now I will just run this, okay, quickly by making a small change. Okay, uh, okay, let it be. Now let me run it now. Okay, so now when I run it, okay, when I run it now, I will what happens is it will give us some result at a high level, okay, for us to understand what exactly happened. So if you see the report over here, so it says launch is done. Launch took 0.554 seconds. Login has taken 0.290 seconds. Log off has taken 0.296 seconds. 0.5 for launch, 0.29 for login, 0.296 for log off. These three are the transactions that we have inserted, okay, and for which we are able to see the overall time, the response time. So this is the response time, guys. Response time means how long the application took to respond for this request. So what does it exactly means here is, so if you go to the script, let's say this is the launch request, right? So if this request goes to the application, okay, server, how much time it has taken to send the response back? That is the response time over here. 0.55 seconds for launch, 0.29 seconds for login, 0.296 seconds for log off. Now you can ask me, sir, all these are 0.5, 0.29, 0.29, something like that. But is there any specific standard, okay, that the response time should not exceed so many seconds? So yes, the industry standard is 2 seconds for any web application. For example, if you click a link, if you click a button, that means you should be able to navigate from one page to another page in less than 2 seconds. That is the industry standard. Of course, some of the projects accept for 3 seconds or up to 5 seconds also. Up to 5 seconds also they will accept depending on their project architecture, complexity, and so on. But the industry standard is 2 seconds. If anything is going beyond 2 seconds or 3 seconds as per the project requirement, that is a kind of performance issue only. Okay, so on a high level, this is how your report or you can track the performance for the transactions, for the actions that you perform. Okay, so this is how the script will be recorded. Okay, so you just need to record the script and do some changes or modifications, okay, to customize it. Okay, we will see those things later in our upcoming sessions. Okay, hope you understood like how this component is able to record the business scenarios for us. Okay, so these scripts only, whatever we have recorded, these scripts whatever we have worked on just now, these only we need to upload it into controller or performance center to execute, to trigger the execution, right? So that's how it's going to work. Now without it's 8:50, right? So without wasting any further time, quickly, if you have any questions, make a note of it. In the meantime, we will discuss the course content also quickly. Okay, so the LoadRunner course content begins with the architecture, okay, and software architecture, and introduction to performance testing, types of performance testing, performance testing process and life cycle, right? So what is proof of concept, what is non-functional requirements, what is a test plan, what is workload modeling, right? All these things. So till here, from here to here, these are theoretical concepts which are very important for the performance testing, for the performance tester, and also from the interview point of view also. Okay, then you have introduction to LoadRunner, like how to install, what are the components, how do you record and replay, what are the different features we have in Vuegen to record, okay, and what are the best scripting practices. Okay, you see the best scripting practices, what are the transaction names, multiple actions, recording versus replay, what are the inbuilt functions we have, okay, all those things, the best scripting practices. Then you need to learn something called recording options also. Before runtime settings, we will also discuss about recording options. What if the script is not getting recorded? Okay, then we discuss about runtime settings. These runtime settings will support the execution. Okay, so we have to provide some runtime settings. Okay, so we will discuss these runtime settings as well. Then you have something called HTML versus URL based recording. Then you have checkpoints. Checkpoints is nothing but a kind of assertions. Okay, a kind of assertions. Then you have something called introduction to C language. Now most of you earlier in my earlier batches also, since last 3-4 years also, so many of you guys have asked, so how much of coding is required? Okay, how much of coding is required? I don't say that coding is not required at all, but I can definitely say that a minimal coding, a very basics of C language is enough to write the advanced code also, advanced level scripting also. So we are not going to develop any application. We are just going to record our scripts and customize those scripts so that it will run smoothly. So for that customization purpose, we need to implement some C language basics, okay, if required. Not for every script, but if required. Okay, so for that purpose, we need to understand and learn some of the C language basics, like what are variables, data types, if statements, loops and conditions, and functions. So if you say, especially guys coming from non-IT, they after the demo also, one or two guys, every batch they call me and ask, sir, you said about C language, because I'm coming from non-IT background, how can I learn? Trust me, after this course, you will only tell me, sir, whatever you informed us in the demo session, that is absolutely true. Okay, because it's not that complex, or it's easy to learn C language basics. Okay, we have some 4 to 5 sessions on that. Okay, just go through, just attending the sessions and practice for 1 or 2 hours per day for 4-5 days. That should be sufficient. Okay, just to customize the code, write your custom code and so on if required. Okay, then you have something called C language inbuilt functions or LR functions and so on. Then you write 1 or 2 concepts of little bit advanced C language, like how to write data to a file, how to read data from the files. Okay, and we will discuss some real-time challenges in scripting. Okay, which will be important from the interview perspective. Okay, then you have one very important concept called correlation, which we will discuss for 4 or 5 sessions. Okay, then you have something called parameterization. Parameterization means it's all about passing test data to the scripts, passing test data to the scripts, right? Then you have till here it's all about scripting. Till here it's all about scripting. Here, from here, the execution will come into picture. Okay, how do you create multiple scenarios? Of course, you have different types of performance tests like load test, endurance test, scalability test, stress testing, and so on. How you create scenarios for those? How you execute? Okay, what you monitor during execution? What are the different metrics? Okay, all these things you have to learn. Then you have analysis. How do you analyze your results? Because it's not about executing, it's about how good are you in analysis also. Okay, analyzing the results and providing your observations to client is a important thing, right? So that's the reason analysis is also in place. Then you see here these two, analyzing the results and providing observations, and then drafting email with all our observations to client. And trust me, you cannot find it in Google anywhere. Okay, it's about real time. So how in real time, how you draft an email to development team or application team or client? Okay, you as a performance tester, you successfully completed performance testing for an application. You have some observations to report. How you draft an email? Okay, by including all the observations to client. Okay, we will have a session for that. Then we have few sessions for interview question and answers. Okay, and during this course, we will be practicing scripting on 5 applications. We will be practicing scripting on 5 applications. Okay, you also have one additional concept called virtual table server. Okay, we will discuss that later. Okay, very important. Why we are practicing on multiple applications, those many applications? See, I can explain you the concepts of scripting in one application, but that doesn't give you confidence, right? So when you practice on multiple applications during the course itself, it will give you confidence that you can script any application. That's the reason we are practicing on multiple applications, because every application is different and you might face challenges in every different application. So that's the reason the more number of applications you practice, the more confident you will be. That's the reason we will be taking care of 4 to 5 applications over here in the session, in the course itself. Okay, then you have these bonus topics in place, like what is Fiddler, what is har file scripting, what are the APM tools, okay, what is this AppDynamics, okay, how it will help you to identify performance issues, little bit information about what is this CI/CD, what is this Jenkins and GitHub all about. Okay, because according to the market trend, these are some of the out of the box concepts for a performance tester. That's the reason I try to give my insight about these tools, okay, during in the course itself. Okay, then how one additional session on true client, okay, how you trigger scenarios from Jenkins, and then discussion about thread dumps and heap dumps. That means these are related to performance engineering, beyond at the advanced level, like what should you do when the application is not responding, when it is not performing well, and so on. So these concepts will come into picture, right? And then along with these web applications, the recorded sessions, like 3-4 hours of recorded sessions of web services, will also be provided along with this course. Okay, those recorded sessions for web services are directly from the Kumar sir itself. Okay, then so this is about the course content, guys. Now I will give you a time for the Q&A. So request all of you guys to post your questions on chat, or directly you can ask me one by one.
If I miss any class, there is any recording sessions?
Yes, daily after the session is completed, the recorded session will be shared with you, and you can go through those recorded sessions for lifetime.
Okay.
So daily after the session, you will get the in 2-3 hours. Let's say daily session is from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Morning, right? Indian time, and for US it will be, I think, some 10 or 10:30 p.m. EST. So after that, after 3-4 hours, you will get the recorded session. Okay, so it will be shared with you guys. You can go through those recorded sessions on day-to-day basis, and it will be available with you for lifetime.
Yeah, hi sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than the web applications, do we cover any load testing and database and any other scenarios?
No, that's a different course itself. Database performance testing. So you need to check with Kumar sir once, okay? Because that's a different course altogether here.
That means
Okay.
LoadRunner tool will means it will available the options for load test means load testing and
Yeah. So I
database.
can see even we can discuss how to connect to database and all those things, but generally, I told you, right, there are different types of testing. In that, there is something called volume testing, where we focus on the database, like how the queries are running and how when you have huge amount of data in the database, how the application is responding and so on. So what are the different things that we test as part of database performance engineering and all those things? There's a separate course, but yes, LoadRunner supports database performance testing for sure.
The web services and SOAP and REST.
Yeah, that is all.
So
That is covered. I mean, see, actually, it's a just 3 hours or 4 hours web services recorded sessions. They are already provided. They will be provided to you. Those videos are directly coming from Kumar sir itself. So you can go through that recorded sessions for 3-4 hours, and I will be available anytime. If you have any questions, please do reach out to me. Not only during the course, after the course also, you can reach out to me for any questions. It could be web, UI, whatever it is. Okay, it could be REST services, microservices, whatever it is. Okay, so you have that that course in place already. It will be shared with you. It will be shared with you for sure.
Hi, Krushik. Do you also cover a mobile application test recording?
Actually, it's a different course. Who was that? I mean, actually, it's a different course
Sangeeta.
here. I mean, yeah, I can give you some insight about it, but it's actually a different course. But anyways, I'll check with Kumar sir once, and I'll get back to you. I can provide you insight for sure, but I'm not sure whether I'll be able to explain in detail because that's a different course here. I'll check with Kumar sir and let you know. What's your name, please?
Sangeeta.
Okay. I'll make a note of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Even you can ping Kumar sir directly if you have access. You can check with him directly, or in fact, I can also check with him and get back to you.
Okay. I don't have access, I guess, because I don't have his
No worries.
contact number. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll check with him and get back to you. I'll make sure that information is reached to you by end of the day regarding your question.
Okay.
Hello. Will you
Yeah.
provide the job guarantee and what is the future of LoadRunner?
Prasanna, LoadRunner is most widely used tool in the market. See, job guarantee. I'm just a trainer here. I cannot assure you about job, but you can discuss the same with Kumar sir. Okay. One more thing. What I can assure you about LoadRunner is, LoadRunner has so many job offers in the market. If you just have few minutes of time later, you just go to naukri.com and search for jobs for LoadRunner and see how many jobs will come up for you. So jobs are always there for performance testing. It could be LoadRunner or Jmeter. Jobs are there. Jobs are definitely there, because without performance testing, the application will not go to production. That means the end users will have impact, right? So that's the reason performance testing will be done before the application goes to production or live. So that means for every application, it is mandatory to go for performance testing. So jobs are always there. And LoadRunner is a benchmark tool in the performance testing space. Why it is a benchmark tool? Because it's there since ages, so many years. Okay, it's there, and it is supporting so many big MNCs. Okay, I mean all the big MNCs are clients of the LoadRunner tool. No, every MNC is using LoadRunner. Okay, why? Because even though it is a licensed tool, because it's a product owned by Micro Focus, and then when you purchase a license from them, they will give you they will give you support, continuous support. Correct. First thing, you will have security for your data. Okay, thinking from the company perspective. I'm just saying from the company perspective. When we purchase license, of course, we have the company will also think about the security purpose. Like so when you purchase, when you are using a tool like LoadRunner, okay, definitely the security will also be considered. Okay, and it's a benchmark tool. It supports most number of protocols, right? When compared to other tools in the market, right? And it's a one bundle. When you get LoadRunner, it will be a one bundle. You need not go out of the LoadRunner, okay, to do anything extra. When compared to other tools like open source free tools, you need to depend on some third-party freeware, some jar files, and all those things. Okay, you need to you need to integrate with your freeware tools, and you need to depend on them. But when it comes to LoadRunner, everything is one bundle, and once you install it, that's done. You can practice anything. Okay, and then LoadRunner has very good features when compared to other tools in the market. Okay, even if you ask any of the performance tester, if you have any if you have any friends or colleagues, they will definitely say why LoadRunner is a benchmark tool in the market.
So year gap can be considered for this uh, performance testing?
Sorry, I didn't get your question. Can you please ask again?
Means suppose I have 4 to 5 year gaps, and after that I want to join IT sector, and first is my performance testing want to learn, and
Yes,
can we
you can.
start?
Yeah. See every batch. There are participants who are uh, trying to come to IT field from non-IT background. Some of the folks are might be they were in IT earlier. They took some gap and now they want to come back to IT and start their career again. So
But
the
I don't.
opportunities are always there. But especially when you have the skill and if you are ready to join immediately, I think you might get some offers as quickly as possible. If you have the subject, if you have the skill, and if you're ready to join, I'm sure according to the current trend, most of the companies are also willing to recruit who are ready to join immediately.
Without is it valid?
It definitely depends. It depends on company. It depends on their company policies. No, some companies accept, some companies have their different policies. Depending on that, they will hire.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'll take all the
Just
questions
to
from
ask,
chat in some time. Yeah.
just to ask one thing, I know that this LoadRunner is not a free version; this is a license version tool. So my question is that during course, during practice, how we can get the access? Will be plug giving any providing the license version key for to install setup in our local missions to practicing forever? What's the plan for that?
Okay, so the team will give you a trial version in your machine, so that will work for some number of users, and which will be there for you with you for for lifetime. There is no expiry for it, so you can practice and execute, and you can simulate all the real scenarios in your machine itself.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, tell me.
Hello.
Yes,
You
please.
already told that alternate tools are there.
Mhm.
Maybe may I know that names of tools?
You have tools in the market like LoadRunner, Jmeter, NeoLoad, Gatling, and so on. But as I said, the most widely used tools are LoadRunner and Jmeter. Okay,
Why?
I'm not saying you should not learn Jmeter or why you should learn only LoadRunner. You always begin with one tool. and learn that tool, master the tool, and then learn other tools as well. Okay, and why I'm saying start with LoadRunner, because it's a benchmark tool in the market. Okay, you will get a clear idea about what is performance testing, how it works, how we do, what are those, how do we analyze reports, and all those things. Once you master one tool, you can definitely switch to another tool as well, just to upskill yourself in the performance testing space. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, suppose if I want to learn Jmeter and LoadRunner, how you are going to conduct the session, sir?
So my personal suggestion is not to learn in parallel. You cannot learn both the tools in simultaneously. That will definitely impact your practice. The reason is, even long back when I used to learn, I tried the same, but it didn't work out in a way that we don't get time to learn both the tools at a time. First thing. Second thing is, you will not master both the tools in that case. You will learn to some extent, but you cannot master both the tools. My personal suggestion is, take 1 month or 45 days time. 45 days or 2 months time for mastering one tool. Once you master the tool, and then you jump onto the other tool and start working on it. So daily you say that I'll practice half an hour LoadRunner, half an hour Jmeter. My personal suggestion is, don't do that.
And one more thing, sir. So present I'm in Bangalore. Is there any possible to is there any chance to learn through offline from Isha Technologies?
Currently, you can check with Kumar sir. But however, we are available online for support, for the practice and all. So you can ping us anytime. We will call you back and clarify all your doubts and all those things. Okay, you can share the screen. You can share the screen. We can help you fixing your errors, issues, and all those things.
Yeah, if you have offline possibility means it is better than this offline online.
Possibility, you can check with Kumar sir, but currently I'm not aware of in Bangalore. Okay. So you
Okay.
can just ping the same question in the WhatsApp group. I'm sure you are in the WhatsApp group, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Please do ping in the group. Kumar sir will reply to you.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay. And the course, okay. Some of you guys are asking course duration. Course duration is approximately 35 to 40 sessions. Okay. Why I'm saying 35 to 40 sessions is, sometimes two or three sessions might be added, depending on how the participants how the participation is there, in terms of interview question and answers, because we have some sessions on interview question and answers, right? Some 1 or 2 batches, it has taken like 4 or 5 sessions for interview questions also. So the reason is, the more participation, there might be one or two more sessions. So that's the reason it can end up anywhere between 35 to 40 sessions for sure. Okay. And weekly, so important. Daily session is in the same time, 8 a.m. to same time, like what we have started just now, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And Saturday, Sunday, we don't have session. And if you have any questions over the weekend, you can call me and share the screen. I can help you out in clarifying your doubts. And one more important thing is, for the guys who are coming from non-IT background, I will be taking 1 or 2 additional sessions for them. Okay, just to make them familiarize with the terms and terminologies of performance testing. How performance testing works in real-time projects. What is the role of performance tester? What exactly we have to do in our day-to-day activities? Okay, what are the different types of projects we have? Okay, what is agile? What is waterfall model? I'll make them familiar with the terms and terminologies of the performance testing role. Okay, so one weekend, I will schedule one additional meeting to discuss these basics for the non-IT guys. It doesn't mean that only non-IT guys should join. Everyone can join. Okay, everyone are requested to participate. Okay, so that's how the non-IT background participants will also gain some confidence. Okay, and they will be familiarized with the terms and terminologies and roles and responsibilities and all those things.
Hello.
Yes, tell me.
After we are getting the job, is there any support from your side?
As a trainer, I don't support, but you can check with Kumar sir if they can if you know they might provide you. But please check with Kumar sir. You can ping in the WhatsApp group. I'm sure you are also a part of the group, right? Right.
Yeah,
So
okay, sure.
yeah, please do ping in the group. Kumar sir will reply, because some of the questions like what you are asking has to be addressed by the Kumar sir itself. So one or two questions, please do reach out to Kumar sir and post in the group. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sure. Thank you.
Sir,
Sir,
what
will
is
the
the duration of
session,
this course?
Same thing, like 40 sessions approximately, 35 to 40 sessions.
sir, will this cover also covers anything on the cloud environment, anything to do with the cloud or anything on the microservices?
See, the web services recorded sessions covers those web services and all. Microservices, we can I can give you, I can take a session and explain you how microservices are different from normal web services and all. We can discuss that for sure. And also regarding the cloud performance testing, like the Storm Runner and all. Basically, we from the Isha we have some webinars. Like in every month we have some webinars, like a weekend or something. There we discuss about the Storm Runner and all. Whenever there is a webinar, I will send a link to join. So you guys can join, and we can discuss about the cloud Storm Runner and all those things.
Okay, and do we need to master any scripting language to for LoadRunner, like how we had
See,
HPQP test?
you need to learn basics of C language. When I say basics, only till variables, data types, if statement, loops, and till functions. That should be
And we do
sufficient.
not have, right, and we do not have any flexibility to switch over to any other programming language than C.
You do have flexibility to switch over to JavaScript,
Okay.
but that is on your personal interest. The reason is the reason is all these years, whatever the challenges we have in LoadRunner and scripting and all, for everything there is a solution with respect to C language. The reason is it's been there since ages, right? So for everything there is some solution, and all the 99.9% of the projects in performance testing LoadRunner, they use C language as a support for the recording and all. So let's say you know JavaScript, and your colleagues, 2 or 3 colleagues might not know JavaScript, for example, and you are working as a team. Then let's say that you developed a script in JavaScript, you developed a script using JavaScript, and then next week you moved on to some other project, and you had to assign it to some other team member, and immediately there is some issue and your team member has to fix it. Then they might face some issues because they are completely not aware of JavaScript. So there should be some uniformity. That's the reason all the projects as of now, mostly more than 90%, they are following C language only. However, if you guys are really interested, in learning Java also, I can tell you some basics of Java, but that is personal interest, and as of now not required. You can begin with basics of C language and understand the concepts. Okay, for both of them concepts are same, only the implementation is different. Like for example, if statement, how it works, it's same. The syntax is different. Loops, how it works, it is same. Loops are same in C, C++, Java, Python, .NET, everywhere it's same. Only thing is the way we implement, the syntax is different. So that you can adapt it quickly. Okay. Once you understand the concept, how it works, adapting to the syntax is not a big thing. You can learn it in one day also.
So hope in that case it's not to an extent of pointers in C, right?
No, pointers are not required at all.
Okay.
just till functions and loops and all those things.
Okay. And will there be any CI/CD pipeline defined for any performance-based scripts?
Yeah, actually, for time being, as part of this course, we have a session on CI/CD, like because as per the current trend, performance testers need to have some knowledge about how CI/CD works, what is CI/CD, what is Jenkins, what is GitHub and all. There is one session on Jenkins. What is Jenkins all about? How can we trigger scenarios? How to create a job, and how to how to trigger this load runner scripts or scenarios execution through Jenkins. That we can explore. Yeah, we have a session for that. Okay, let me check if I missed any questions in the chat. Murli, there is a session on how to download and install the load runner trial version and start practicing. We have a session for that. Yeah, we will discuss that in detail. Murli, business standard is for all pages. So business standard of 2 seconds is for all pages, not for login. It's generic.
So, sorry to interrupt you. Just to ask one thing. As per my experience, I think before installing LoadRunner to set up in our local PC, so we may require some configurations changes, right? Like in the sense maintaining this much of GB RAM, this much of.
See, it depends on what is the version you are using, LoadRunner version. So currently, whatever the version you will be installing in your trial version, you will be installing in your laptops. You need to have 8 GB of RAM. And memory, the space. I think most of your laptops will definitely have some space, about 2 GB or something, more than 2 GB, or that should be fine. But RAM, 8 GB of RAM is required for the latest version. OS,
Yeah.
Windows,
So how about the
Windows 10, 11, that should be fine.
is it 32-bit or 64-bit?
I didn't see any issues with respect to those 32-bit and 64-bit. I think most of the users they have 64-bit, right? So 32-bit, I don't see any issues as of now. In earlier, as of now, no participant ever complained about 32-bit issues. So hopefully it should work for 32-bit also without any issues with the latest version.
Yeah, that is fine. Just I need a small favor from you. So before whenever you are providing assistance to the team that installing, setting up in their local machines, can please draft an email to send for everyone with that will be get ready by the time of installation with all the configuration details.
Yes, see, actually, this is just a demo session, right? So actually, what we do is before the let's say tomorrow is a session for installation. So today we will inform all of them about that. Tomorrow we are going to have a live installation session, and all the trial versions might be software will be shared with you guys, and you should be downloading in your local machine, okay? And you can be ready so that in the live session only you can install it.
Okay, just
May I know the
one final
fee?
thing. How about the processor?
That should be fine. I will send you the I'll send you the what is that sheet, okay? Like infrastructure prerequisite sheet, okay? Where you have RAM and memory and all the CPU and all. But whatever you have, i3, i5, i7, whatever, everything should work.
Yeah, that's fine. Really, that is helpful for everyone because if you are getting all of sudden, it's very difficult for to research at a time during middle of the course, right? So if you give me in advance, that is better for everyone to get up ready. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thanks for the all
actually,
details. Thank you.
yeah, sure, yeah. Thank you.
So will there be any session on integration of a load runner to an automated tool, say Selenium?
See, LoadRunner integrated Selenium. See, you can use some of the Selenium concepts within here, we can definitely have some insight and session on that, but it's not like completely integrating LoadRunner with Selenium, because Selenium is is a functional testing automation tool, right? Whereas LoadRunner is a performance testing automation tool. But however, one or two cases where we can use some Selenium functions within LoadRunner, we can discuss that for sure. But Selenium is more integrated with Jmeter to capture the client-side browser metrics and all. But here, if you want to capture browser-side metrics and all, you already have an inbuilt protocol called TrueClient, which we are already covering as part of this course. So, so that should be sufficient for LoadRunner. No need to integrate complete Selenium or something like that. It's not required because Selenium is a freeware. Yeah.
Okay. So just one follow-up question on that, sir. So now that you spoke about the metrics, so do we also discuss the different metrics we capture for performance testing? Like, see, this is from the real-time perspective, like how the manager or the lead would expect us to send or capture the metrics. So will that also
Exactly.
be? Okay.
Exactly. If you see the course content over here, somewhere in the, so here if you see, we have clearly mentioned, one second. So here if you see analyzing the results, so we analyze so many metrics, okay, identifying bottlenecks, okay, what are the different metrics we capture, okay, and then how do you analyze all the results, okay, how do you analyze all the results and provide observations, and apart from that, how do you draft an email with all our observations to managers, clients, and all the stakeholders? Okay, so once you send this, you will not get a reply also. It should be that perfect. Once you send out an email, they should understand what you are trying to inform them, like how the application has performed. Okay, you are trying to inform them how the application has performed. So our email or our observations or recommendations to manager or client should be that accurate. Okay, so where in the email we will not only include the observations from LoadRunner, we will also include the observations from APM tools also, like AppDynamics and so on.
Hey, just one second. Hold on. Just want to ask one thing. Is there anything else, something to discuss important? Because I'll be having another meeting in another 1 more minute. Actually, drop it.
No. I mean, it's done. Even I was just taking all the questions, but all the important things are done. You can always reach out to me directly, or you can ping in the WhatsApp group for any further questions. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Because already 9:30 a.m. IST,
Yes.
I'll be having another meeting, another 1 more minute. Okay. Just
Okay, fine.
please send me other further details in the group. Okay, with that I will be start making the preparing for the starting getting the sessions team. Join the
Sure,
session. Okay.
Lokesh. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Glad. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Hello.
For your
Hello.
Yes. Tell me.
What is the average package for 4 years experience?
Randir, I got your question. Average will depends on company. It will be somewhere around 12 to 15 or 12 to 18 also, depends on company to company. Okay, 10 plus, definitely you'll get 10 plus for sure in any normal service based company also. Nowadays performance. So one thing you can do some research on also. Definitely it is more than functional testing and automation testing. The package is more than functional testing and automation. That's for sure.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
May I know the fee?
Fees, I think it is mentioned in the group. Like, can you check? Can you ping? Who is that? Prasanna? Is that
Yeah.
Prasanna? Yeah, okay, I'll
Yes.
update in the group. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's already there, but anyhow, I'll check once again and I'll update it in the group. Yeah. I'll inform
Yeah. Okay.
Anita ma'am to take care of it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Zabi, yes, we do have Jmeter, but But if you see some of the big MNCs, like especially the financial institutions, right, where
Right.
they give where they give more priority to security, because
Right.
they don't want their data to be compromised with freeware tools. So they definitely go with LoadRunner because they get continuous support, data security. All the protocols are bundled in one package, integrated with other micro focus products like ALM and so on, right? So that's the reason this particular tool is still the benchmark tool in the market, especially for the big MNCs. Okay,
Okay.
I'm not saying not to learn Jmeter, but definitely that is also most widely used tool only. But go one by one. Either you start with this or that, but learn one by one.
Okay. So will there be any support or a session on the integration with ALM?
No, but
But
because
we do
generally
have that flexibility to execute a script, a performance script, and that gets updated on the ALM test plan or test plan, right?
that's true, but that ALM is also outdated now. Nowadays they are not using ALM. Everything is bundled into one
Jira.
LRE. But
Okay.
yeah, Jira also. But what I see is basically the integration part is something out of the box for LoadRunner course. It's more relevant to the admin guys who look after the integration and installation things in the companies. But however, having little bit amount of knowledge on that is useful. Whatever the documents I have, I will definitely send it to you.
Okay. Sure. Thanks.
Venkata Sivanjanaya, LoadRunner is enough to begin, but learning should be or upskilling should be a continuous activity. It's not only in performance. If you go with automation, if you go with development or wherever in IT, upskilling is a continuous activity. If you ask me, LoadRunner is just enough. For time being, for beginner, it's enough. But if you are having good experience, okay, if you want to master, or if you want to become if you want to go in the line of a performance architect, definitely you need to learn multiple tools and have good idea about other tools as well. Okay, for beginning it's fine, but to sustain and to continue in the performance testing space, slowly you need to learn one tool after the other. It's not like you need to learn all the tools. At least two tools, one or at least two tools you should learn. Okay, Nagamani, load generator is a component which is responsible to simulate users. We haven't seen that yet because that will be internal. And Vugen is something, a component which is responsible to develop or record the scripts, like what we have seen today, right? That one. So remaining thing we will discuss in detail in our upcoming sessions. Okay, so I have answered all the questions, I'm sure. If anything I missed it, please do let
Hello,
me know. Yeah, tell
hello,
me.
Randir.
Yeah, tell me. Tell me. Tell me.
For 4 years, guy, this load runner course is sufficient. 4 years
Yeah,
experience.
it should be sufficient. Yeah, it should be sufficient for 3 to 5 years. For 2 to 5 years, one tool should be sufficient. But however, once you master that, when you get time, please learn. Please switch on to other tools, jump to other tools also, and try to master more than one.
Okay.
Okay. Any other
Okay.
questions, guys? Okay. So if you have any further questions, please do reach out in the WhatsApp group. I can call you individually as well and explain you. Okay. Once again, I thank you all for joining this demo session. Hope to see all of you in the upcoming sessions as well. Thank you and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, Krish.